Focusing in nails. My hammer is somewhere in the shelving unit. This is an audible. For the purpose of this video is to title it as I cannot believe that somebody so evil could use somebody else's child to kidnap and to use that child as an emotional punching bag. So whatever they did to counsel my daughter, to brainwash my daughter, to tell her what to say, to tell her what to do by indoctrination, they would pass on negative energy to my daughter and make her agree with them. If she didn't agree with them, they would threaten her. These are adults who are attacking my daughter, and I wasn't able to do anything, totally helpless and powerless to do anything, incapacitated, disabled, and they want evil history to repeat itself. Actually, they want to do to me what they've done to my daughter, and they knew I couldn't stop them. This is an example of institutional racism, hate crime, prejudice, and all types of vicious attacks. So I was a lone family unit, and for nearly 10 years, nine and a half to be precise, my daughter had a happy childhood. I gave her lots of freedoms, knowing that those freedoms were not going to harm her in any way. I tried my best to make my daughter have what she wanted in a fair way, not unfair way, and reasonable way. And she had to work for it as well. She had to work, but not overworked. She did play and enjoy her childhood. She knew that I was the one in control of our relationship. So what they did after they kidnapped my daughter is remove that healthy control, healthy boundaries, healthy respect. We had a reasonable relationship. It wasn't dysfunctional. I didn't shout at her. I didn't need to. She trusted and obeyed me. And she wasn't pretending to be happy. I knew when my daughter was happy and not happy. So now that she's turned 18, she didn't care that I was unwell. And it was a test to see if she did care. So she's failed the test, and that's why I want her to stay away from me. She only cares about passing her exams and her academic achievements. She doesn't care about my tests and my domestic policies. So she doesn't have to. She doesn't live with me. I haven't seen her for 5 years, and I don't have to see her because she doesn't need me. She doesn't care about me, and she is using her social worker to jump onto my social platforms, who was Georgia and Lauren. So she's using them, I'm sure. Or they have done some type of government crime to make my daughter find my social media. Or if not, if my daughter hadn't found my social media, they're scheming or planning or plotting something else. And it's very, very much upsetting for me to not to be able to let go. I want to let go because I know if we remain, it's an emotional trauma bond, and it's not going to be healthy for me or for my daughter to remain in a relationship that has too many problems and is too overwhelming. And she's too unwilling to cooperate at the most reasonable requests. So at age 18, they already taught her how to be unreasonable, revengeful, and it's pretty pointless to continue in any relationship between anybody, whether it's formal or informal, that cannot be reasoned with. And that's another reason why I'm staying away. So if Children's Social Services and the police and other Dick and Harry out there that's gossiping about me and spreading disinformation about me, now I'm doing this video, they have to stop. Actually, the more I try and stop the bullies, because that's what they are, the more they attack. And so the commonality is that they probably know that when my daughter's traveling. So they would think that they're doing her a favor, and that she doesn't know the difference between the good guy and the bad guy. So she's not a good girl, she's a naughty girl. And she cannot promise to me that she's not going to harm me, and I cannot promise her that I cannot harm her for self-defense. She's a total stranger. It doesn't feel like my daughter anymore. After not seeing somebody for a decade, and then if anybody tells me that I'm not a Christian because I haven't accepted her and welcomed her back, no, it was a house arrest. It wasn't as if she left by her own accord. She was arrested, dragged out of her own home. I was dragged to court to have a pile of elephant poo on the judge's desk that was full of lies, worse than elephant poo, and I had to accept them or have death threats. And so it's all been ruined for a decade. So if my daughter had left my home by her own accord, as the prodigal son, for example, in the religious and my Christian faith, and then she did all these bad things, she'd gone and done teenage sex, she's tried drugs, she's tried nightclubs, she's tried gangsters where they would go and do all sorts of crazy things. If my daughter did that and then she regretted it and came back home by her own accord, that's a different scenario. No, she has been forced to come out of her home, child frightened, child counselled for her journey, child brainwashed, child abused, emotionally abused, and forced to become some type of a sociopath or psychopath for studying too hard and being obsessed about getting her grade A, perfect grade, and being perfect, and then accusing me of saying that I'm disappointed that she's not perfect. That's a total lie. I didn't do that. Children's Social Services did that. These tyrants that have kidnapped my daughter did that. My daughter had far from perfect childhood. It was it wasn't chaotic. She had order. We had a cleansing routine. They came and disrespected my home and wrote false reports. They did it in paper. They did it on the computer systems, called Children's Social Services, called the corruption in the police, called the corruption in the government, and they're doing it on my social media. They can't stop. So that's what makes them a tyrant. They keep biting and barking aggressively, ruthlessly, spreading disinformation on paper, on their system, and it's not enough. They have to widen that circle of destruction onto my social media. So it is the devil's spaceship and its commands and demands versus my ghost ship, to say that there is a huge difference between the prodigal son who is rebellious against the parent because the parent hadn't disciplined it enough, compared to a child that has been torn away from the loving mother and frightened and emotionally distanced and numb, traumatized, to grow up to be somebody aggressive and lost. My daughter's had it drummed into her head she'd be better off without me, and they keep psychologically abusing and emotionally abusing my social platform, putting men that look alike of my ex-husband who died in 2012, blaming me for her dad's death. I was separated for 7 to 8 years. I wasn't living with him for 7 to 8 years. I am divorced for 7 to 8 years. How am I causing his death? And may God kill him all over again, because they're putting my ex-husband lookalikes, either a male version or a female version of his personality on my platform. It's disgusting. These tyrants do not know how to stop. So, if my daughter is attacked and left quivering with making very little effort to say anything, who's abused her, or if I'm attacked and quit shaking and not being able to speak up and forced to go into silence, it's all done by corruption. Now, I have been praying that my daughter will not see corruption, that I won't see corruption. However, if my daughter has become an antichrist, that I have a feeling she has, as a direct result of a secularist school and a secular schooling education system that teach my daughter to be antichrist. So I just have this horrible notion as if I've been pooped on and walked on, and she boasted about it. And they've used certain channels to notify me of this fact in the most nicest way. They've actually notified me on my social media, and I have to now plead and beg from my enemy, because there's no one to rescue my daughter. There's no one to rescue me. In life and death situation, that is a death threat. There's nothing I can do, because I haven't seen my daughter for 5 years. She hasn't lived with me for 10 years. And there's nothing I can do other than do this video to say it's not my fault. If she's attacked, it's not my fault. If I'm attacked and forced to go into silence, no one can stop me. If I had the opportunity to rescue my daughter, but I don't, and this is why I've been bereaving. This is why I hated myself for a long time, when I realized that there was nothing I could do. It's the most horrible feeling. And the authorities and the evil spies knew why I hated myself. They knew why I was crying, why I was very, very upset for many years when we were separated. I remember fainting for 2 weeks, and then coming round. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, I was crying non-stop. And this is trauma. And they knew that. These evil spies and these evil corruptions in authorities knew that. And they want that to happen again. They want me to feel guilty for not being able to rescue my daughter. This is the worst guilt. To be stuck in a situation where you're helpless and powerless and you cannot rescue the one that you love from danger. Number one, I don't have the physical strength or the mental strength to do it because it's too upsetting. And number two, it would endanger me as much as it would endanger my daughter. This is how evil children's social services are. And if we're going to have a quiz on which taxpayer, either left or right government, promotes children's social services the most, it's a puzzle. Asking the members of the public in this audible, which government is promoting children's social services the most? Is it the left wing or the right wing? If it was a bird, as an evil bird, I would, if I had the opportunity, I'd cut off both of the devil's wings off. So it's taken a flight as an evil devil, checking what they can do to take control over my testimony, over my side of the story, over my evidence, that they want to take control, to say I don't exist, the evidence is rubbish, anything I did for my daughter, that selfish spoiled brat who she's grown up to be, I didn't do anything according to them. So they've made my daughter into a monster, that I must now bow down to all her commands, and that she's the adult and I'm the child. She would go and sit on my roof if she could, or my loft if she could, to spy on me. So we've swapped places now. She's the ugly bird on the roof, and I'm the beautiful bird. She's the ugly bird on the roof, doing something illegal. If I had the opportunity, I'd push her off that roof. I would rather sit on the roof, according to my Holy Bible, than be in the same room, comfortable with somebody who is an abuser, who is a user, a sponger, and a nasty narcissist. So that's how I would be in a hurry to override any room to get up onto the roof or get away somewhere where I could not be found, rather than to be arguing all the time with individuals that only want things from their perspective. So annoying. So to start to clear my path, if it is a mist, as the radio song says, I see now, the rain has gone. All of the obstacles are out of my way. So she's the same as that fog. An evil, disgusting, sexualized child in the horror film The Others. She's turned me into the child, and now she's the adult, and she wants to lock me away in the prison of all her accusations and lies. The Others with Nicole Kidman in it. But in reality, that's her fantasy as a narcissist, as a sociopath and a psychopath. However, the reality is God's people are the owners of the house. My house. Da, 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 da. It's my house. So we're the owner of the house, but who wants a haunted house? If I could, I'd leave this house or this accommodation tomorrow if I could. And if she does have some clothes or anything of her pictures, her clothes, I'd put it all in a bonfire, and I don't want nothing to do with her. If that's how she's going to treat me. Basically, that I know I have not given her life. God gave her life while she was in my womb. But I know that she owns me an overdue honour for taking care of her and not causing her any harm. So that's why I recorded the conversation I had with her, and that's why they wanted to shut down my my account so I could hide the truth. In the telephone talk that was recorded on the 8th of December 2022, last year, was the last time I spoke to my daughter, now turned 18. When I asked her, did you have a happy childhood? She said, yeah, it was okay. It was good in most parts, she said, quote. So she's now going to be my judge. She's now going to be my adult. So my plan is urgently to find a way, some computer expert or mechanic that could get rid of this shite and this smear campaign off of my platform and make things more simple, so I don't have to find myself emerging in deadly situation and be far worse off every time I go outdoors. It's bad enough that I haven't been outside, only gone out once a year for my severe disability, and they've made it even worse. I cannot smell the flowers, the fragrance. I feel totally cursed and condemned for my daughter being a witch and some type of a monster. Everything that I've given to my daughter was there to glorify God, and the devil came along and says, no, everything you have done for your daughter, it was there to glorify me. And that's what they've done. They're calling evil good and good evil. They're calling God the devil and devil God. So, as a result of my daughter becoming so superficial, she should be wearing plastic. Her clothing. It's no longer cotton or any other material. It should be plastic. And all the nails that they've put in Jesus Christ, there should be a supernatural thing that all the wounds and all the everything, everybody who is an antichrist should be the ones who are cursed and condemned. And that's why I'm saying take your curses back. All the nails, all the bruises, all the scratches, all the wounds on me to go on to you. You evil witch, that's worse. It's worse than Babylon, as it says in the Bible. It is the water of Meribah, that bitter water of evil challenge and competition of a disgusting teenager that is accusing me of being envious and jealous of her. I'm not envious and jealous of her. I think she has a hard and cruel heart to compare herself to me. If anything, she's jealous and envious of me for my freedoms and for my truth and for my power and for my control over her. So it's the other way around, in fact. So she should go away with her boyfriend, screw him, have sex with him until she has no brains left, so that she doesn't have grade A and grade B in her A levels anymore. Because she's worse, she's behaving worse than a prostitute or a slut. She's behaving as some type of a police officer or some type of a murder detective, as if she's expecting me to be murdered, and that I should sound nervous doing this video, or every time I go and have some exercise or physiotherapy outside. So this is what I guess. This is what I sense by my intuition. How can she see me as her mother? When I cannot actually manage anything to do with my relationship with my daughter as a result of what they're doing and invading and intruding, and they've put all types of terrorists on my platform. It's a masterpiece what YouTube has done, which is totally antichrist. That my social platform clearly says I want it to be personal and look for friends, a few friends that I could trust, and work on that friendship, whether it is as a sister or as a brother or as a romantic relationship, to have a choice without talking about sex, to just have a choice and to talk to people. It doesn't mean I'm sexing people. Christian women are not the same as women who are not Christian. Talking to lots of men, it does not mean that I'm going to be going around kissing lots of men, necessarily. And if it is, it's an old-fashioned kiss. No tongues. So there's no romance, there's only war. And if they're going to weaponize romance, they're going to weaponize my emotions and empathy. They want to weaponize everything. They weaponize sex. To the point of making Christian people feel suicidal. What's the point of living when there's nothing to live for? That's how they think, and that's what they want me to think. They want to lower my life and defame my life so much, degrade me so much, so that I lose my faith in God, that every day is not a new day. I have to think like them, and I won't. Even when I'm tortured, I won't think like them. That they expect me to say it's an old day, I'm bored, I'm unhappy, I'm sad. That's what they want me to think. And I know I'm not bored, I know I'm not sad, I know that I'm not suicidal. And I'm grateful for my life. But these bitches and bastards, they're never grateful for their life. They're filthy perverts and obscurants of justice. They would put someone there on my path to attack me. They've already organised this crime. Because they know I can't fend or can't fight for myself. Well, I do have a walking stick, I suppose, and a pepper spray, a body alarm. What else can I use? I can use my walking stick to beat them up with if they approach me, but the problem is I don't have that physical strength, and if I try and attack someone with my walking stick, they may take that out of my hand and attack me with my walking stick by retaliation. So that I'm disconnected like a bit of a broken computer. So it's a terrorism, and I would need a supercomputer on my YouTube to say I don't want this anything to do with children's social services on my path. I don't want my voice tracked and traced. I don't want my date of birth tracked and traced. Because I have not put my official name down on both of Penny Pot's YouTube account and Grebe YouTube account, except for one YouTube account which was stolen that has my actual name. So that's how they've boxed me in, they've punched me, and at the same time they come across as the nicest people. And so God is my witness as to what they're doing. There's no boundaries. So they're suggesting that they're making a bid or a gamble that I should now stop using social media altogether. It's too dangerous. Even with my security softwares, they still find a way to steal some of my apps or find a way to ruin it by the same hooligans and maniacs. So I'm hoping to find a new family and new friends so that I can soothe away, they're the smooth criminals. I want to soothe away all the wounds that they have put on me and my Jesus. I want to laugh full-heartedly, not laugh in malice and mischief. But if I could destroy one of the destroyers and betray one of the betrayers by God's will through a holy war, I could laugh by mischief. Has one of those devils died? So there is such a thing as a holy mischief and a holy war. So I am disturbed that for the past 10 years I have not had a natural physical affection for my daughter, which is to shake hand in agreement, give each other a hug and a kiss. None of that for 10 years now, and with COVID-19 none of that was allowed, and so it's as if we're not humans anymore. What's happened to the human society? I'm 33 minutes recording in the audio. It's interesting to know what other mums who have been estranged from their children. When I accuse my daughter of being a selfish, spoiled brat, it's not because I want or I demand my daughter to do what I want her to do, and because she hasn't done what I want her to do, I am calling her selfish. No, I'm calling her selfish because she's only thinking about herself, and because she assumes that something is that isn't, and she's extremely demanding. And she's bitter, and she wants me to be bitter in one way or the other. I don't want to surround myself with bitter, nasty individuals that expect me to make them sweet. No, I will not, as I am not a people pleaser. I had to make myself sweet by knowing God and God knowing me. That's how I made myself sweet, and that's what I recommend. If you really want to be sweet and no longer bitter in life and sad in life, that's what makes true happiness, knowing God and God knowing me. So that's how I can jump out of their boat now. It's my turn to punch holes or puncture holes in their boat, where I can jump off of their horrible sinking Titanic and go onto a lifeboat. It's my turn now. And it's holy. God says vengeance is mine. So when they see I made a new friend on social media, they would then jump on me, destruct me, put some horrible individuals on my path, so that I'm not paying attention to my new friends. And this is what they've done to blank out and block God's blessings in my life. I am hopeful that when God's vengeance takes place and my daughter's disciplined by God, we could then rebuild our lives in the future. And rather than her attempt to control me. And that's my conclusion in this video, that it's in God's hands. And I have been praying that God, let her go. Don't protect her anymore. So that she can be burnt. If you play with fire, you get burnt. That's the whole purpose of discipline. If God didn't love, God would never discipline. So the way God disciplines the non-religious, those that don't have a relationship with God, is not the same as when God disciplines the religious that do have a relationship with God. So I'm sort of feeling faint and tired now. It's 3 a.m. And again, I've spent sparking energy in this video to say that I am my own person, not the person that the government wants me to be, that mental health services want me to be, that my local police want me to be. I am my own person. What I have is what I have. Even if I don't have the best fancy furniture and top model home or the top model body, I am who I am and who God wants me to be. In every direction, I have been surrounded by an enemy who has been destroying the environment, bullying the weakest and the most vulnerable, and blaming me at the same time. Hold on a minute. I protect the environment more than them. I haven't bullied the bully more than them that have bullied the victim. So they've done more, and they've killed and destroyed people that are better than them. That's inscripted in the Old Testament. How evil people always target people that are better than them. So there is such a thing as holy confidence and holy pride. I will insist on that, which is opposite from arrogance, aggression, and evil attitude problem. So I'm sort of feeling disorientated, as if I have been hit over the head, because I'm tired. And I have taken a handful of information, which is a witness with the Holy Spirit of what normal humanity is. I have not given you or you or you or you or you who is a stranger any permission to do any mental health assessments on me. And if you have done, and since you have done, I will ask God and all the holy angels to do a mental health assessment on you, and you. Because God is a great God. God is a great doctor. Greater than any other doctor or psychiatrist out there. So if you can do it to me, God can do it to you too. I'm Maya Maria Marina, Miss Nikolic, and my new name is Mima. Mentally sane. And this time I won't swear with my middle finger. I don't need to. I'm not interested. And the misinformation going out there about me being a pornography addict is also disgusting. The last time I watched pornography was 2015, 16 or something like that. And a one-off in 2017, 18 when I had excruciating pain. Not for the purpose of pleasure, but the purpose of pain. And to condemn it as Sodom and Gomorrah. They should mind their own business. This is a government crime that they would go and pick on a residential person and take their private router and weaponize my own internet against me about what I'm watching. They should mind their own business and cut their noses off. It's outrageous that they would actually communicate to them and say, did you know that she's condemning you and she's not enjoying your sex? And I did that for education to learn what my daughter's doing in hell. I want to know what my daughter's doing in hell because of what they did, what the devil did to me in hell when it comes to perverse sexuality and his filming and evil pervert who filmed me while we were having sex without even telling me and then selling my tapes. That's what my daughter's dad is about. A professional pervert actor. I mean, even if he told me about it, it was too late. I found out he was hiding them under the bath without me knowing. But even if he did tell me, I would not give consent. It was non-consensual. It's criminal behaviour. That's how I close my video. I absolutely hate evil. I hate Chris Boyd. I hate my daughter Ellen Boyd. I want nothing to do with the Boyd family. I want nothing to do with Mel Gibson, who also loves the Boyd family. Cliff Richard, who loves Boyd family. Who else is there? Is it Gordon Ramsay, who would love to have sex with an Indian shite? You go and have sex with your Indian shite and stay off my channel, you filthy pervert!